What is up, YouTube? We are here today with another episode of Forced Conversation. As usual, we got my man, my partner in crime, pun intended. Brother, please introduce yourself.
Makes me laugh every time. What is up, everyone? Thanks for joining us. This is Gangster KT, and looking forward to chatting tonight. Let's do it.
Outstanding, outstanding. And if you notice, it's three heads. It's a three-headed monster today, baby. We have the ambassador himself, Ambassador Al, going to tell us a little bit about how to be a big dog, what the whale life is about.
Right. So yeah, what's going on? I'm excited to join us and see if I don't know if I can outrank a gangster. I don't think I do, but we'll see how it goes.
Different walks, baby. Different walks. Man. So as usual, let's just talk really briefly about where we can find you cats. If we need to follow up with any of this or get some more information, KT, where can we find you?
Yeah, appreciate that. So I mainly just do YouTube videos. So you can find me as Gideon is showing there, but it's youtube.com /gangsterkt. So check me out there. Feel like I have some good content. Hopefully you guys enjoy it.
Hey, and once again, I always like to plug, but that brother's giving that life-changing advice, man. I'm telling you, you need to subscribe. He's letting you know how to get in the game, free to play, and get it done. And what about you, Al? Where can we find you?
I'm in two places almost all day. You'll find me on twitch.tv/Ambassador Al. But I'm also posting so many videos, some good, some great, some not as good. We'll see. On youtube.com/Ambassador Al. That's AL. People think it's AI. It's just a lowercase L. That's why I have a capital L, because people just kept getting, are you the ambassador of artificial intelligence? Like, no, my name's Al. It's just that simple. Go for the easy answers.
So yes. I would claim that, though. That's impressive.
Yeah, I know, right? That's most impressive. Double up.
Double up. So yeah, we're happy Al is here today. We really wanted to get an inside look at, just what that next stage of gameplay is. I mean, I'm a hardcore player, but I'm free to play. But really, what's that next stage and that next level about? And so we got Al here to kind of talk a little bit about the whale life. And I understand you recently you achieved an accomplishment here. I know you're working on Dark Dimension 6, but recently you achieved an accomplishment.
I mean, I don't like to toot my own horn. All right, that's a lie. But I recently unlocked Super Skrull. This is my first video also get 1,000 views. So people were happy to come along and say, wait, is that even possible? It is possible to do without being a mega crack and spending thousands of dollars. Right now, I'm excited. I'm working on Big Boy Super Skrull. And I had a great night last night. Actually managed. Super Skrull is so great. How great is he? I was able to get through the cosmic nodes in 4 hits total, 2 1-shots and then a 2-shot on the 3rd node cosmic, which is great because the first time through it took me like 12 attacks on that Morgan Le Fay node, and this time it took me 2, and I was like,
wow,
really, one character can make a yeah yeah bro. So it's a different life too, man. Crucible's different, my arena's different, everything's different. If you have the means, I highly recommend getting one. And I can help you get there with less that.
Sounds good. I'm jealous. I know I'm jealous. Any thoughts, KT?
Yeah, I'll say a little jealousy too. No question. That's a hell of a character to have. And curious to hear more about this for sure. I know the T18s are so rare. I don't remember exactly how long DD6 has been out, but they haven't loosened them, right? Like they have the T17s for sure, but T18s, those are hard to get, especially if you aren't doing like the top end rating. So just looking forward to hear how you've done this. It's impressive.
We'll go over in as much painstaking detail as you want, or as little detail as you want. You guys got to let me know, because we can get real granular, or we can stay 30,000 foot view. Just got to let me know. So we'll do it.
But you said you have been using them in Crucible and like War and been able to play them in other game modes.
Oh yeah. I was like, you spend this much time and effort and energy and resources getting a character, you want to use them as often as you possibly can. And he's been fantastic. I even dropped him into raids. I'm like, yeah, I got Rebirth. Let me drop Winter Soldier for some Super Skrull just to see how it goes. It doesn't go that much better because the way that those raids are tuned for that team. but it's still, I'm like, I'm going to use them wherever I can. I put them in RTA just to play him more often. I was just like, got to find places to use this guy. Arena, it's a game changer for Arena. Secret Defenders are actually a bigger game changer than Super Skrull is for Arena, but combine the two, it feels pretty good. And War 2, Crucible. I put him in today, and he wins. I get at least it requires at least a 2-tap, if not a 3-tap, and one person actually failed completely. And I'm in Masters 3. People have they got the firepower, but not enough firepower for Super Skrull if you do it right. So
wow. Are like the top 150 people in Crucible just Super Skrull players and then maybe Dorky Dad, or is it more spread out than that a little bit?
It's a real mix. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I've been sitting in the top 100 for the last like 6 weeks before I even had Super Skrull.
Oh wow!
So now I'm like, it's time to climb up. But then my competitors are getting them too. So it's crazy. But there's a lot of people. I did a 10 million TCP punch up. Guys that have TCP higher than me, 15 million higher, and they don't have Super Skrull yet. I'm like, oh, I have 53 million TCP, kind of big account, right? I'm number 400, it's like 420 in the game. I'm not top 100 TCP.
Yeah,
but I'm top 100 Crucible because I know what I'm doing, and I got the right tools. But there are people top 50 who don't even have Super Skrull. They just have overpower you with everything else. You just can't beat their normal stuff.
Yeah. Arms race, man. Arms race.
Yeah.
Hey, just a little sidebar. If anybody's just joining us, we're talking to Ambassador Al. We're talking about big things with the whale mindset. He's hitting people in the face with a Super Skrull. He's telling us about it. And so the chat lines are open. If you have questions, go ahead and type them in chat. We can throw them up on the screen and we can get them for you in real time. So I didn't mean to interrupt the flow. But Al, I don't know if I don't know how long the journey was for you. How did you, what was your mindset trying to even get into Dark Dimension in the first place?
Yeah, good question. Also, for my Twitch chat, this is a green screen. This is not my actual house, living room, piano setup, by the way, guys. So, but I appreciate you thinking it is. I wouldn't mind having this. But I traded this in to have Super Skrull instead. It was either or. It was either or.
Now we know the cost.
I traded in. No, so the thing is, I've been playing this game since the first week of the game. I was past 1,980 days of my little accomplishment thing. So I've been doing this, and I love Dark Dimension. I got excited for Dark Dimension 1, get Ultron way back in the day. 2, 3, 4, and 5. I've always loved. That's my favorite game mode. If you look through, I want to brag and stuff, but I finished pretty high in those events as well. Like Dark Dimension 5, I was top 100, like number 93. Like 2 steps ahead of Remenex, because I was actually we were in the same alliance at the time, and I was racing him. He didn't know I was racing him, but I was racing him. That was my benchmark. So I get obsessed with it. So so Dark Dimension 6, when it was announced, I was like, yeah. Just beat the hell out of doing the apocalypse thing, because we got to make our own choices, the player agency thing, right? And I like most gamers, I think I can do it better. I can find a better path. What if there's a shortcut? There's a thing over here. There's an edge. I can do an angle. And so I decided I'm going all in. And it started June 27th. I happen to know it. It's actually my parents' wedding anniversary. So I knew the date. It was the easiest circle on the calendar. And I started just kind of prepping and figuring, how am I going to get there without spending buckets of money? And the first thing I did, I'll tell you, I'm not going to do half hours, but the first part was gold. I'm going to buy all the Gear 18 minis in the gold store. And how am I going to get a lot of gold? Well, as a former financial planner, financial advisor, I always tell my clients the best way to have money is simply to not spend it. So I decided I'm just going to not level up any other character I have, because the biggest drain of your gold is leveling up characters. I'm not going to level up characters. I'm not going to pour it into putting from gear this to that. I'm not going to do anything, just enough. I'll level them up, the new ones I need. And if they work, like I got the Bifrost team, it's like, Sylvie, she's great. Level 85, and the team cleared 1.6 difficulty incursion raids. You stop. but you should build everything to 90, 95. No. If they work, don't build past the point of effectiveness. And that's how I started pouring all my excess gold into the store. And I spent 50 cores a day refreshing each time, 50, buy gear 18, 50 again. So I spent 300 cores a day on the store.
So
But
you
I tried not
50 refreshes all 3 times.
Oh yeah. But I try not to spend cores on anything else. And I'm also not luckily, by virtue of having a pretty big account, I'm in an old arena shard. Top 10 arena is easy. Top 5 was kind of tough. Top 2 or 3 could be kind of hard. But we had Apocalypse and Horseman, and basically we all could beat each other. It was a matter of who could snipe at the right time. So as long as I could snipe into the top 3, I could break even and actually be core positive on the day. So I poured my cores into that, not refreshing anything else. I didn't use them for raid refreshes. I don't use them for buying character orbs for orbs. To me, is one of the worst wastes of cores in the game. But if you're free to play, what else are you going to do, right? So yeah, I used my cores for refreshing the gold store and bought things there. And then it's the events, all these milestone leaderboard. It's too complicated. I'm like, come to Papa. Complicated. Complexity is my home turf. So yeah, I made my little spreadsheets. I made my event guides for other people to follow along. Here's what I'm doing. Except I'm going, where is it going to get me either cores, gold, gear 18 mini pieces, or the character shards I need for the characters I plan to build? And I made all these targeted things. So I would spend, hey, it's a power core spending event. Those I would core a little more often to get points to get the gear 18 minis from that event, whatever it was, whether it's Mystic, Mutant, whatever, eat all of them. So I just basically try to maximize all the events and maximize the gold store and not spend gold anywhere else in the game if at all possible. That's the big part of it. And then DD6 planner and try to build characters that only need 2 or at most 3 sets of the gear 18 stuff. Figure that you get 1 big character per, like Apocalypse doesn't need a whole lot of friends to win. Vol and Kang don't need a whole lot of friends to win. Cloak and Dagger don't need a whole lot of big friends to win. You just power through, and you can just do more attacks. It'll take you more time, and if you build a great team and then have 10 days where you're not doing the next attacks because you haven't built the next team, what was the point?
Right.
What was the point of going 100 miles an hour to sit at a red light for 4 days? Let's go 20 miles an hour while I'm getting ready for the next thing. And the other part was no horsemen. 0 horseman strategy. I've seen so many people who are like, I'm building Red Hulk right now. And eventually you'll be there. You'll get done 14 days later than you could have if you just waited and built something else. Just hoard it up. So that was an 8-minute dissertation. I apologize, but that's the general lay of the land of how to make that work.
Very interesting. That supply store core refresh. That's something I hadn't really thought of. I buy all those, but only 3 times. You're getting 6 times or 9 times on them a day. So makes sense. ZKG, what's up, man?
ZKG jumping in the chat. Appreciate you, brother. No, Al, we ain't gonna interrupt you, man. We learned it like you said, we learned at the feet of the master, bro. Some of that stuff definitely I didn't think of it. Some of it you can implement some of that free to play. You know what I mean? Like some of that is just resource management, and not thinking about it from that perspective. It can be usable. It can be usable.
Other thing I'll say there is also I made I made a video, I made a spreadsheet, my DD6 tracker, and I have my own system. And I tell people, look, it's a good framework. You can grab it, save it as your own thing, and change your ratings on there, but have a framework for how you're making your choices. And for me, a big part of it was how cheap are they, how well they perform versus how cheap they are, but also how meta are they? Are they useful in other game modes? I hate to build a character that I'm going to use for 4 days and then put on the shelf for a year or forever. It's a big waste. And so people are like, well, how good are they in the global nodes? I'm like, who cares? Apocalypse carries you. The question is that character worth having in arena or raid or war? And also, are they fun? Are they fun for you to play and actually use and go, this is cool. I got a good Titania. Yeah, she's and brag about it. Like that's a part of it versus like, oh, I got to build whatever XYZ character because it it'll I'll get through the nodes 4 days faster. I'm like, yeah, but you haven't built the next team anyway, and now you're done. And that character you don't like playing, that you don't use in other game modes, is going back on the shelf, and you just wasted 10 million gold plus all the resources above and beyond the gold. Come on, man. Come on. Let's think it through. Another factor is use the characters that I already have built up. Like I brought Kestrel, not because Kestrel is amazing in Dark Dimension 6. Spoiler, she's not. But I already had her built to gear 17 and level 95 and Blue ISO 5 because of the Apocalypse Chase, right? So why not just go a little? If you've already run 26 miles, run the last 365 yards and finish the marathon. Like, bring her along. She cool. Versus like, oh, let's bring Photon. Like, I don't want to take a character from level 1 to level 95. That's 20 million gold and all the gear in between. And I'm sure she's amazing. And reports are she's great. But in the meantime, that's 20 million gold I can put towards 4 other characters or that I can put towards using in the store to buy how many more Gear 18 minis to build more characters. So that was a big part of a lot of characters I used. I already had at level 90, level 95, and I was like, I'm going to save all this gold that I can use to buy the minis, and I'll get there so much faster because they don't have to build Quicksilver or Photon or whatever. Don't have to do it.
Yeah, and it does seem like this one, more than ones in the past, are dependent on, 1 or 2 characters per area, like you were saying, which allows then that more flexibility, get the cheaper ones, the ones in other game modes. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I will say, and my Twitch chat's roasted me slightly. It's like, yeah, Photon's a bad example because, Arena, bro. I'm like, yeah, I hear you. But in my case, again, always CTC, consider the context, consider your own personal case. I was still staying in top 10 in my arena. I wasn't getting crushed in arena. And my thought process was, hey, if I get Super Skrull, I'll be right back in the top 5 in my arena. I'll be okay. And I can come back and build Photon and Marvel Hardlight. And I am. And right now, I don't fall below number 2 in my arena at all.
That's nice.
Yeah. And that's with a level 75 Hardlight, level 75 Photon, level 75 Ghost Rider Robbie. It doesn't really matter for my arena shard. I'm building up because I want to, but now I'm building at my own pace, and I beat the game that way. I can come back around to it.
Yeah.
So
this is amazing. This is awesome, bro.
It's a good tip.
Really
we gotta
good.
start implementing this stuff here.
Again, I mean,
For
like,
sure.
if you're free to play, you're like, you may not be able to coast in arena the way I kind of was. I already had Apocalypse and the Horseman stuff going. So maybe you do need to lean into like Photon. I think Photon's a great build because of how great they are in arena right now. If you are a newer player, and you're not yet in Dark Dimension 6, Photon's great. I'm not trashing Photon at all because she's great in war and arena. But I already had my team built up, so I had the luxury of skipping her. But if you haven't built a character up there, you don't have someone else on the shelf that could fit in there, who already has level 95 and all the gear, all the stuff going, then yeah, Photon is fantastic. Great choice. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I got to give a little side shout out here. I was struggling so much with my 5th character for global, and I knew that I was also very short on tech characters I was planning in general, and happened to see ZKG's video and him using Viv Vision. And for where she is on my roster, I loved it, and I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to take her as my 5th. But the things you're saying, like those help so much, and it's cool hearing how much flexibility there is still within that free to play. Like you aren't just talking about buying all those materials, like that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I remember we saw like players finishing the first 5 hours, like, oh my god, like, well, how'd they do it? Like, well, they're spending so much money in cores and those 1,000 core orbs to randomly try to get stuff. I'm like, I'll spend 300 cores a day. I'm not going to spend 1,000 cores on one orb to randomly get some Gear 18 pieces. I wasn't going to do that. That was such a crazy route to me. That's so anti-free to play. I was like, how free to play can I make this? And I think 300 cores a day is not a lot to spend on that. There was occasional, I spend the occasional $5 offer, $10 offer for there's 16,000 gold orb fragments. Like, oh, 8 gold orbs for $5. Okay, I'll buy that because I need the gold. Those sort of offers I would feel along the way. But yeah, I mean, part of me, people make fun of me in my chat also as well. Is like, I bought Ravager Stitcher. Ravager Stitcher, he stinks. Yeah, it's one tech piece, and I'm a veteran player. I used him in Dark Dimension 5 because he was cheap for that too. And so I parlayed the fact that I already had him at gear 16, level 90. So I could build a little more gold and one set of gear 18 minis. Was he great in Dark Dimension? No. Was he better than one gear piece? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's one of sneaky little niche plays, but it's a niche play that I could do because I had previously made the same niche play, and I'm getting a little more interest. It's compound interest on previous investments that I can piggyback on. So look at your own roster. If you already have Viv Vision built up because that tech raid was so damn frustrating that we built Bionic Avengers, and even though they stink now, but if you already have them on the shelf, take them off the shelf. Maybe they're kind of cool. There's a lot of people who I saw bringing Misty Knight to City because they built this Heroes for Hire war defense team and they hate not getting the user. I'm like, well, here's a war defense character you actually can play, and it's tech and super cheap, and you can keep moving. Will she be the key to getting through? Nope, but you got to have 5. They don't all have to. If you were starting a basketball team and you had Michael Jordan and 4 guys in the gym, that's you got a chance to win.
You're gonna win the pickup game, that's for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. So don't worry about that too much, right? Just find characters that are fun to play, that are affordable based on what you've already done, and just keep grinding. Don't give up on it. I think like people just kind of they go, I'll do that in 2024. I'm like, well, by then, who cares? By then there'll be some other thing, and you won't. If it doesn't matter to you, then let it go. If it does matter to you, just work at it. Just grind away at it. If it's an hour a day here, it's just like a hobby in real life. Like you just work at it a little bit here, chip away at. You got Andy Dufresne breaking out of Shawshank Prison. He didn't do it in one day.
I mean, I kind of agree with what you're saying there, but I think I'd really rather be blitzing. That's a lot more fun than playing Dark Dimension. So it's hard to find the time for DD. But no, I mean, joking, but it's fun playing that. Like it's kind of like the trials. Like it's just something that you don't do every day, and it's a challenge, and it is really fun playing those. So
yeah, and the good thing of that is like it's a game mode with no clock, right? There's no clock. You're not stuck there like in a war battle or arena battle. And if it's not working, you just quit, reset. And it's like playing a video games with consoles. You just hit reset. I'm losing. Reset. Or your kid brother was beating you at. You're like, damn it, just reset. You get in a fight, right? But here the game doesn't fight you. It doesn't get mad at you. Just reset it. If you want to spend 2 hours, if you got 2 hours, to me it's more fun 2 hours playing the node, trying to figure out, do I hit the taunters, the healers, do I hit this special here, save that, versus blitzing. I'm on a 2-hour blitz counter anyway. I may as well use the 2 hours hitting this game mode, right? It's more engaging. It feels like an actual video game and less like I click the little button, Candy Crush, I hit the button for rewards kind of stuff. I feel like I'm actually being strategic and I'm actually gaming and I'm trying to beat something. It's like trying to beat Mario 7-3, right? Hit the jump at the right spot and hit the thing. I feel like I'm solving a puzzle, and the challenge of it all versus just hit sim blitz. Just go to, your gamma rate, your beta attack, sim. Oh, it's this war attack using this counter versus this counter for the 8 millionth time. Right? I feel like I'm actually solving a puzzle, and that's really why I love DD6. And the rewards are great too. Gotta tell you.
Man, like it's. See, I'm not good with numbers, so this is my first time I could actually weigh in on something. But it's like that's the part I think that we lose so much. Like I think there's a strong push. I don't want to derail the discussion, but I just think there's a strong push from a lot of people to like make the game faster and sim this and sim that and auto this and auto that. And hey, that's not fair. My team, now we moved up to higher difficulty and incursion, and now I can't auto the raids and like Scopely's done. I'm like, no, man, like this is a video game. It's just strategy. It's a turn-based strategy game. And that's the fun part. is like you're saying, man, the chess moves, it didn't work. So you might have to start over and try something else. And like that's what keeps, the mind continues to muse about it and buzz about it. And that's healthy
Yeah.
gameplay. You know what I mean?
Fun. Remember fun? Remember it's a game, and you remember people say it's a game. Oh yeah, grow up. I'm like, no, it's a game. If you want, this isn't a wallet contest. I mean, I would lose the wallet contest to the people I'm up against, and I don't. And actually, part of the fun I talk about with people is I want to beat people who I know are spending more than me. It kind of feels cool. I'm sure a free to play lifestyle, that's probably like 90% of the fun. I think is like beating people who are spending money on the game. Me, I do spend some. I still do, not like I used to, but I know the people who I know who are still spending 4, 5, 10 times as much as I am, and to still beat them.
Yeah, it's like you said earlier, that delta between your TCP rank and then your actual like performance rank
Yeah.
and modes. That's what we brag about, right? That's why like the
Mhm.
challenge and what we do.
Yeah, I'm always like, look, I'm number. I think I got up to number 42 in Crucible, and I'm like 420 TCP. I'm like, yeah. I was number 141 to get. I mean, I don't know my number offhand. I do 141 to get Super Skrull. And I'm like, okay. I skipped over 280 people who are ahead of me in TCP who don't have them yet, at least, and that feels good. I'm like, it's punching above your weight, right? That to me is, for me, like I said, consider the context, define winning for yourself, define your own goals. For me, and it sounds like you have the same kind of thing. I want to outperform the TCP of my roster. I want to outperform against others, and that's Crucible. It's Dark Dimension 6 finishing. It's finishing in monthly milestones. Any leaderboard I can get onto without spending as much money as the next guy, I love it. I love trying to sneak my way into like, oh, this rewards 251 through 1,000, the same prizes, and I was number 998. Got you.
Perfect.
I got you, 251. I got you. I love that stuff. So it's a big part of my game. It really is.
This is fascinating, man. This is good. This is good. I don't even know where to go with this. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Like I said, I think the
I
thing
love
of it is, like, if you spend money, I'll talk about this too, is that we don't spend shame in this game, and not my channel, and I hope others don't as well. People, this is their hobby, this is their thing, and if you're free to play, love it. I embrace it. I don't look down on anybody. Oh, it's free to play. Just that I just know that people have different concerns, different pros, different cons, and people I know who are spending. You guys, I don't know if you're shocked anymore at the numbers. People spend upwards of 10 grand a month in this game. Like, I've seen people spend 20 grand a month in this game. I've seen people drop 50 grand one month. I've seen it happen. Okay. So, and I used to be
salary, bro.
That is
That's
shocking, I'm not
somebody's
gonna lie.
yearly salary.
and you're like, I've seen it. I've watched them just like, okay, just refresh. You're like, it turns out, when you refresh campaign energy, there's a point where it stops you. Like, you're hitting cores, like, it's like, it's 50, 100, 200, 300, 400. I think at the top is like 2,400.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
at some point it says, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're done for the day. You can't core anymore to refresh the campaign energy."
Oh my word.
Did you even know that?
No.
And I
course
will do
not.
it every day. I see people do it every day. I mean, what's even better, they do that and they don't even spend the campaign energy. Like, if a new level cap's coming out, like if we go to level cap 100 coming up soon at some point, whenever it happens, there'll be people coring until you can't core anymore because it won't let you core to build campaign energy and then not spend it and just wait. And they'll be level 100 that first day.
I've heard about that.
They'll have banked like 1 million campaign energy, just to the point where they can't even spend it. They'll hit every node in the game, every campaign mode in the game, and they'll refresh those campaign nodes until it says you can't refresh those anymore. They'll stop.
Start using cores just to do the node that you used
Bro.
cores to get the energy for.
Yes. So I mean, you just
Hey, teach their own. Like you said, it's a hobby.
Oh, like if you want to have a 90 million TCP, you want to jump from level commander 95 to commander 100 in the first day, Hey, more power to you. I'm not mad at you. Because number one, hey, you do you. I'm a firm believer in you. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, you do your thing. If you want to, I don't care. Number two, it keeps the lights on. This game that I love playing, it ain't going anywhere. If it can make $1 million off of a small set of people over there, then they're still gonna try to milk me. But I'm way too quick on my toes to be caught up with these hoes. Pardon my French. They're never gonna catch me. They're never gonna milk me like that. They'll catch me for $5 here, $10 there. Oh, the battle pass has got all the character shards. Fine, here's my $20. It's gonna happen, but it's here for all the free to play. All the free to play players who just love playing the game. If people weren't paying money, the game wouldn't exist, because this is it's not a library, my friends. It's a bookstore, and they want to milk every penny off every purchase and want you to, like, oh, how come spenders get rewarded? Why do they get more stuff? You answered your own question.
Yeah.
So
that's how life works, right?
Yeah. If those guys get all the Blue ISO 5 they want. And this game, when you go log on, is still there, and they're still doing content. But it's aimed at those people. Well, of course it is. But if you can have fun in that economy, then you're winning. They don't have to make the game for you. If you have a lot of fun and a lot of energy and have a great time, whether the movie's made for you or not, and you're like, you snuck in the movie for free, and you're like, but I love this movie. And they didn't even know I wanted this. No one test marketed me. No one had focus group on me, and they made a movie I love, then you're winning. Shush. It's fine.
Yeah, and it's so cool how like the game is dependent on all different groups, right? Like you said, if there's not whales and krakens, like there's not a game for the free-to-play players to play. But vice versa, if there's no free-to-play players or dolphins, I think the whales and krakens will get bored. Like, then who are they beating, right? And maybe that's short-sighted, but it seems very dependent on all walks of life there, on everyone playing their part.
Yeah, it's an ecosystem. It all has to balance out. It's like you couldn't have sharks if there were no minnows, and there wasn't kelp. If there wasn't some, it all has to work together. It all has to be in balance. And it's not a question of winners and losers and who's rewarded, who's punished. It's just more, to me, it's like, what lane do you want to be in? If you're in the left lane on the highway, you better go fast, or the guy behind you is going to ram you. If you're and just know which lane you want to be in. And if you're not enjoying it, shift lanes. I found I was spending too much and I wasn't enjoying it. So I spent less, and I'm doing slightly less, but I'm having way more fun. And all the guilt, my personal guilt, shame, I'm spending too much, was keep me from having fun. And there was a lot of stress and pressure of alliances. There's a reason that this game loves people to be in alliances and rewards alliances. Peer pressure.
Yeah.
23 cats telling you better get in line. And hey, we all bought the new character. If you don't, maybe you just don't like being here enough to still be here. Maybe you'd be happier at a less ambitious alliance. So yeah, it forces you to spend as much as your neighbor. And so find an alliance that spends the way you like to spend, and you'll be way happier in this game. Or be one of those guys who way outperforms what they spend. I've seen people who are free to play but outperform some of the biggest, bloatiest whales who spend $1,000 a month but are terrible at the game, can't get a damn thing done, cost their alliances wars, are horrible at things. That and a free to play is just whoops their butt at everything. So it doesn't have to be that way, but it's hard. It can be hard. So
this is
Very
really
find your
good,
people,
man. This is really good. So happy you wanted to come hang out with us tonight, Al.
I just can't wait to go start refreshing the supply store. I'm definitely going to start doing that.
Right? I mean, that's one of those things that it's not, like you said, not up to infinity, but like I'm programmed to, as a free-to-play guy, when I get my cores, if I have enough to drop on a character, then I buy one of them orbs just to offset the chance that I might not unlock. But generally speaking, Scopely wants you to unlock, because you gotta, you want to put some power in that guy. So I don't know, maybe I could implement that a little bit, speed up the progress a little bit.
Yeah, it's, as you may imagine, I have a 5-minute rant on that one too. But I'll keep it short. But I think people, number one, of course, like, you're like, Scope doesn't want me to unlock this character. I'm like, bruh. It's like if you don't buy the car, they can't sell you the warranty, the tires, the windshield wipers. They can't sell all the accessories. They can't sell all the crap. If you don't unlock characters, they can't sell you stuff. And you're gonna want to, whether that's actually for dollar bills, y'all, or just using all your currency up. They can't get you if you don't actually, if you're not part of it. It's a hero collector game. If you don't collect heroes, they have a hard time having you as a customer. So they want you to unlock. And we're seeing, as part of why you're seeing the old 5-star unlocks, 4-star unlocks, 3-star unlocks, because they want people to go and have even the bad version of the character. Now it's pretty good because they want people to get the 3-star unlock and then spend the gold and then buy an offer to get gold orbs to replenish their gold. I mean, it's not rocket science, and so they want that. So my thing is yeah, do it, but only get them as big as you need them to be to get the job done. So get the 3-star unlock, and then hang back on blowing your cores on the 675 cores per loot box of up to 180. Up to 180. Yeah, sure. As a human, I could be up to a trillionaire, but I'm not, am I?
It's
Spoiler
sick.
that I'm not. Up to, right? Up to. Geez. So yeah, you're gonna get 6 or 8, right? So you do the math, it's like this is actually a pretty bad investment. So you want to do it, but you want to get them unlocked, but use the events, use the leaderboards, use the stuff like, oh, it's too complicated. But it's really the best path, the hoops and hurdles, blitzing, right? Yeah, look at the character shards we get for just mindlessly, you log in and you sim. And this event, you don't even have to win. You just have to, you get for doing attacks. You can do the worst blitz teams in the world, and you get all the points by hitting the button. So why wouldn't you do it? Why would you go, oh, it's so like, calm down. The complexity favors the two groups of people. One is the people who are like going, whatever it is, I'm just going to buy it anyway. Whether it's simple or complex, they're just going to buy it. Let them buy it. The other group it helps is the sweaty tryhards who go, I'm just going to grind it out for free. And do I do some math? I don't know. Just point me a direction. I will do it. I'll do it one bite at a time. So eventually I eat the whole elephant. Not that elephant. Sorry, bro. Right? Just take a bite, and then look up in 5 days and you've done the whole deal. You don't even need a spreadsheet for that. Just go. And if you only get 16 out of the 20 milestones, there's rewards in those 16 that you wouldn't have gotten if you've gone, I hate it, and just didn't do it. So get the rewards. Those things accumulate. They do count. They do matter. Grab all the free stuff. If it's the, need a penny, take a penny at the front counter, I'm taking the penny. Sorry, I'm taking the penny.
Those milestone rewards are huge. I'd say, a lot more than just like the incremental rewards you get from most other game modes. Those are big, and hard to get the last ones, no question, but they're worth pushing and trying to plan for.
Yeah, I think about rewards. Yeah, I think about like 2 years ago before we had all this. I was like, oh, these events. It's so like, yeah, but how did we get stuff in the game prior to all these events and monthly milestone things? You didn't. You bought them, or you just did without. Or you saved all your cores for that one to use. Remember, who spends 450 cores on a gold orb? I used to, because you couldn't get gold orbs from events. You couldn't farm campaigns for gold orbs, so you just cored. And if you didn't have cores, you went and bought cores. Which is one of the points I was earlier. We were talking about how do you compare free to play stuff with spend stuff. And one thing I often do is use cores as my benchmark, and I use the $100 for 8,630 or 8,360 cores. And so I figure what's the US dollar value of one core. So I figure, hey, 675 cores for this character, that's like $7.20 to pull this orb. And that orb is probably gonna get you 8 character shards. So you're paying 90 cents per character shard. Whereas you could spend money, like spend $50 and get 100 character shards. That's 50 cents per shard. So 50 cents per shard versus 90 cents per shard. 50 cents is way better. The difference, though, of course, is that you can get cores in game without that buying them. And I understand that. So I haven't really figured out a good mathematical way to kind of do a discount rate to figure, well, okay. I said, well, even if you cut it in half, it's still kind of the same. So for me personally, what I found was, as a person who was willing to spend money, it was cheaper for me to spend $50 on a character unlock, 100 shards, than it was to spend 675 cores per orb and possibly get fewer shards of the character. I was like, I'm just gonna. It's better for me mathematically for my calculation, and I'm open to suggestion on how to do the math, to just buy the character, buy the cheapest offer that gets me the unlock, and then do all the hoops and hurdles, the events, whatever, to get the character from 3 stars to 4 stars. And that to me is a sweet spot. I have a lot of characters that are at 4 star, 5 star, because they don't have to be at 7 stars to be very, very useful on your roster. And you don't have to go crazy. If you have people go spend all their cores, I see people like go first day of Ronin. Oh, I gotta keep hitting the orbs until I'm out. Like, you have 13,000 orbs. 13,000 shards, power cores you saved up. And people just blow through it all. I've been saving for a month I love Ronin. I'm like, when you get to the 3-star unlock, just stop, and then go blitz, or do war attacks, or spend ISO energy, or whatever the hell the flavor of the week is. Go do that. You'll probably get 1 more star level and save yourself like 3,000 power cores for the next thing. Like, just big enough to be effective. Don't build past where it's effective enough to do what you got to do. People just go crazy, and they get out. If you open 1, you're open 12. You can't. People don't like. I know it's a frenzy. It's like
Pringles, right?
Yeah. Or what's it? Yeah. Once you pop, you can't stop, right? Oh man.
You gotta click the next one.
Ooh.
It's gonna be the 180.
Especially it's like you're pent up, right? You're like, I've been saving cores for so long. That's like, it's spending day, that you just spend all of it. It's like, oh, God, what are you doing? But it's human nature, man. Someone's got to fight human nature, and you got to tell yourself, like, I'm smarter than that guy. I'm building for the next one. You have to give yourself a different kind of gold star. I'd rather have 5 3-star characters than 1 6-star character, and then 5 where I couldn't do it, didn't have the cores, and walk around, right? Again, it's like, I would say, if it's a 5-on-5 pickup game and you're Michael Jordan but don't have 4 guys to play with you, you don't get to play, even though you would win. Like, find a way to get a full team of 5, and it could be 5 mediocre guys will beat Jordan because he doesn't even get to play, because it requires 5 to hit the button, right? So think about the overall big picture. You'll be way better off, and you can control yourself and spread it around.
And it's interesting. I think for spenders, that $50 new character is probably one of the best like money offers in the game, what you can spend your money on, because it does allow you to get up to that 5-star with like the initial events, maybe the second, getting a few more shards in the next event too. But for free to play, that 675 orbs is not a good deal at all. But with as important as the new characters are, I think a lot of people still do that. Just, it's really your only chance.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. It depends on if you're free to play. I'm sure what you probably need to do is just like a financial planner tracker kind of thing. It's like, well, how many cores do I actually earn in a month? How many do I spend? And what's my discretionary income? How many cores above my baseline do I actually have to spend on these things? And actually make a budget. And if your budget's not enough for all those things, either you can supplement it 2 ways. 1, spend less, find places to not spend the cores, or 2, or 3. 2 is find ways to get more cores in the game, be better at arena, do more events, find ways to snipe cores here and snipe cores there, spend your million gold, but no more than that, all the daily stuff. Yeah. And 3 is money. Cash money, is that you can buy the cheapest offer here and I think for a lot of people it's easier and maybe more cost effective to buy. There's also they have like the $25 offers where it's like doesn't quite unlock the character, right? You pay like $25 for like 50 character shards, and you need like 50 more. But you combine that with cores, or combine that with the events, you can get the unlock for that. And over the course of the month, like if you spend $80 that month for 4 characters, but they're at 4 and 5 stars versus someone like me who might spend $100 on one character and go, why did I do that? That might be useful to you. It depends on, again, your own personal comfort level of spending and things, but it might be easier to do that than it is to try to how am I going to find 10,000 more power cores this month? Because that ain't easy.
Get good at arena, like you said.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I do free to play. Is I have a 5,000, so 5,000 cores I keep on hand. And if there's an event like a campaign event, you got to refresh to do campaigns with, then I'll dip into that. And then I will not use, if I don't have 5,000, then I don't buy anything with cores. If I have 5,675.
Yeah.
Then I can do an orb. But
that's funny. That's
maybe I should adjust a little bit.
Gideon, what would it take to get you to blow that stash? Like, how good of a new character coming out would it take to get you to take that 5,000 down to 0?
Great question.
I don't think it's. I don't know if there's a thing. Like I said, the reason why I'm sticking to it super hard is because, like I said, what happened with Agent Venom, right? Only character I didn't get free to play because it was weird. The math was weird. So right now I'm kind of, I don't want to say jaded, but that's like it just kind of reconfirmed. No, don't go below that limit. You got to keep that. So you can go hard and that's what it's for, is for going hard when you need to. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's your safety net, huh? I just used to say thing with my financial planning with people. I was like, hey, you have a called cash reserve. It's like a certain amount of money that you keep in the bank at all times, no matter what. You never go below that little cap. I mean, no matter what. Why? Because there's always the chance that maybe the car explodes. Something happens. You're like, and you've got it, and you want to be able to use that, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, whatever your personal cash reserve was, without, as opposed to dipping into your credit cards, as opposed to having to borrow money from your parents. Oh God, from having to go to a check cash in place, do some unsavory things. That cushion saves you from having to do the worst stuff when bad things happen or when something just comes along. So it's important. But I think I would add on. I would try to do a spreadsheet or some sort of tracker of how many cores do I actually get per month? Like, well, if I finish top 10 in the arena, I'm like, but do you actually track how many cores I get from arena this day and do it for a week or longer? How many cores did I actually get from the milestones from spending gold? How many cores did I get here? How many cores did I actually bring in? And where am I actually spending my cores? If you could do a tracker, people track their steps these days, whatever, any little tracker you can do for cores in and cores out, I think it'll help you kind of get a handle on how valuable are these? Because they are the number one currency in this game. Gold? Yeah, sure. No, it's power cores. It's power cores. And if you have a ton of power cores, you have a ton of power. Literally. Even more than gold, because you can get gold with power cores. You can't buy power cores with gold.
That's interesting. I agree with you, and it's surprising that's not content covered very often. Based on what you just said, you'd think there'd be more how to optimize power core spending and guides for that, but you do see those more around gold and the other resources. Even though I agree, power cores is kind of the overall optimization mechanic.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah. If I run out of gold, I just don't spend it. If I run out of cores, I'm in trouble. I can't operate the way I want to operate my game if I don't have cores. So I've got to do well in arena, or I've got to. It stinks every now and then. I'm, back in my old Kraken days, I will crack it open. I will spend $100 and buy that huge mountain of power cores, and I swear to myself, with God as my witness, I will never do this again. And hopefully that actually happens. But it's maybe it used to be a week later, I'm doing it again. Then it was a month later. Then it was 6 months later. Now it's been at least 6 months since last time I've done it, and I feel pretty good about that. And to have gone from announcing DD6 to having Super Skrull without any time in that window, going in and buying the $100 power core offer feels pretty good.
Yeah,
progress, for me, brother. Progress,
just progress.
So hey, I promised 45 minutes were over. We're over. So I don't know if KT, is there anything else you would like to ask this gem while we got him?
I think I'm good, but that was fascinating. I know I told you beforehand, never really been able to hear like the whale perspective or pick their brain on some tips, and was expecting all the tips to be around spending. So really got some other gems here to try and implement. So appreciate it, Al.
You got it. You got it. I was like, I didn't ask about the store and what offers are good. I'm like, you guys don't buy any offers. Why would you care which offers are good or bad? So I figured I would cut all that out, but we can do that some other time if you want, whatever. But yeah, my Twitch chats tell me, wow, how shocking that an Al interview went over the time limit.
Oh, it's all good, Tyler. We just want to say, hey, man, we appreciate you. We had to adjust the time because we had a special guest, man. We had to get this knowledge. So we had to adjust the time, Tyler. Normally we do it on the weekends, Al. But hey, we're going to keep in touch for sure, because I know I'm going to come up with some more questions. But for the interested party, once again, Al, where can they find you?
Twitch.tv/Ambassador Al. I'm the hardest working man in Twitch business. I'm on from like noon to 6, and then again from like 10 p.m. to like 2 a.m. I'm on there all the time. I just love it. It's my full-time gig now. But also check out YouTube, youtube.com/Ambassador Al. I'm putting up at least one video every single day, sometimes 4 and 5 and 6, and it's probably too many. Who knows? But you can find me, and on both cases, my Discord server is listed as well. Find me on Discord, ask me questions. I will respond because as you can tell, I love answering questions. I'll ask myself questions just to answer them. So I prefer you guys ask me the questions. It's better for both of us.
That's good,
Keep
man.
it
That's
straight.
gold. That's gold. KT, what about you? Where they find you at, my man?
Yeah, you guys can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/GangsterKT. So check me out. And Gideon, as always, I appreciate it, bud. Great job hosting, and it was a blast.
100%. A lot of fun. So you found me. Obviously, you're here on YouTube. If you're watching, more than likely, I'm on YouTube, Gideon XL. If you're catching this at some other source, once again, we're all on YouTube in some form or fashion. Gideon, Ambassador Al, Gangster KT on YouTube. Find us on Discord as well. Let's keep the conversations going, and hopefully, you guys are enjoying the game, man. I guess that's all we got for today, man. Hopefully, everybody's enjoying their evening, enjoy their family, and peace out.
Heck yeah. Take care, everyone.
It's a big win for me. Thanks, guys.